Archie taps that maple, and Betty's mom joins the newspaper at school. I'm Sasha Pearl Raver, and this is Screen Junkies News. You know what's great?
Yes.
Not just a recap, a good old I told you so.
Ooh, yes.
Dude.
The I told you so.
Oh my God. So last night I started getting like tweets. You guys totally called it. I was trying to remember how many episodes back the phrase maple syrup land grab was coined on this show. And we're going back at least 3 or 4 episodes.
Yeah, it was called pretty early on. I remember we were sitting here and you were talking about it was going to be Chinatown, and it was, wait a minute, is this some kind of maple syrup land
Check
grab?
out the big red on
And it
y'all.
is.
Last night's episode.
New hashtag unrelated to a plot point, though, is tap the maple.
Tap that maple.
Tap that maple.
Also, Mr. Blossom saying to Archie, can you escort my daughter to the tapping?
So, okay, here, vote in the comments and on Twitter if you can. Is that more disturbing? Or Cheryl saying to Archie, after my brother died, I never thought I'd tap again.
Oh, it's so good. I love it. I love it. All right. So
I love Riverdale so much.
I love it so much. And you know what I was thinking? Riverdale recap with Roth is like so much delicious alliteration.
This is my happy place.
It is. And let's go right into one of the very first moments in the show. It starts with the Blossoms in this like maple syrup cave, basically.
Yes.
Sort of like a wine cave or a whiskey cave that you see Mila Kunis doing stuff in. Yeah. And they're all sort of swishing.
Wait, where do we see Mila Kunis?
Mila Kunis does ads where she's tapping that maple. They're testing the maple syrup. They're sniffing the bouquet.
He's like, yeah, look at this. As if this is actual whiskey or wine. And it's maple syrup. It's not going to have a different bouquet depending on the barrel.
But I love that they're giving us that thing. And then you see the entire town of Riverdale ingesting this Blossom family maple syrup.
The sweet, sweet poison of villainy is what that maple syrup is. Because clearly there's just been betrayal upon betrayal upon betrayal to get to that sweet, glittery gold maple syrup, which is instead of black gold, like in the Beverly Hillbillies, it's gold.
It's gold. This episode focused a lot on Cheryl, focused a lot on the Blossom family, but it also focused on the vultures outside of the family who are swooping in to try to usurp power from them.
Yeah.
I have to say, this episode did get a little bit sexist because they were like, well, now that Jason is gone, who's going to inherit the mantle because Cheryl isn't capable of it? And at first I was like, are you just saying that because it's a girl? And they were like, no, we're saying that because she's crazy.
And then we had to agree. I had that moment too, where I was like, oh, are they saying it? Which to me, it's like, this is clearly a town that is interestingly, and it's part of the aesthetic of the show, that it's trapped in time, but also in present day. And so I'm like, oh, maybe they just have backwards ideas. And then we're like, oh no, Cheryl is crazy.
Yeah,
to be fair to the family.
She just can't hold it together, and that's why they're concerned. But now we've got these people who are sort of coming in and looking to possibly take over power. And
I will say this, one thing that we haven't noted about the maple syrup land grab previously that our producer pointed out is that this is a riff on Twin Peaks, and this is the wood logging of Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
The maple syrup.
Yeah. Oh my God. Thanks, Jordan.
Thank you, Jordan.
You got a thumbs up. All right. Do we think that this family descending like vulture situation, because they sort of are trying to make it seem like the Blossoms are responsible for the death. We also got a huge reveal from Polly that Polly is just playing undercover and she really knows but she thinks the Blossoms might have been responsible for Jason's murder and that's why she's staying with them.
Right, which is, again, that could be it. That could be the game that Polly is playing, but I still like hour-long con game idea that Polly's playing, that she's really the woman behind everything and she's going to take back. Because if you think about it, clearly, like the blood in the water between the Blossoms and the Coopers goes all the way back, and they keep harkening back to the beginning of the town and the founding of the town and the maple syrup, and then they became the wealthy family in the town and lording it over. This episode was all about how the rich lord it over everyone else in the town. We saw that with Archie's father.
They're like they were trying to buy Archie. They bring him this like beautiful guitar. They bring him to this creepy like maple syrup party.
Yeah.
They give him this hideous red velvet tuxedo that matched exactly Mr. Blossom's tuxedo. Creepy, 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 creepy.
Yeah, and they indicate they're going to help him out. They're going to get into this music program if he plays ball by playing ball with his daughter. Again, very straight to send the right message to the board of directors.
Right.
Who is also all redheads. Can we discuss this genetic anomaly? When does that get cleared up for me?
I don't know. I keep waiting, but there's so many things that I feel like the family is the red herring at this point.
Yes.
Like the episode ends with Cheryl taking the photo that they took at the tapping and scratching out Archie's face and then scratching out Polly's face. So we're supposed to feel like she's cuckoo birds, which we know she is, but I feel like she's a more delicate kind of cuckoo birds, not a I'm actually going to kill people cuckoo birds.
I don't think she's a murdering cuckoo birds. I think that was more of like a Heather Burnbook moment of like Heather's, pardon me.
Yeah.
I'm conflating two different things, so I'm going to stop you.
Mean Girls.
It's Mean Girls Burn Book
and the Heather's.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Heather's general mayhem and murderiness. And so this is what I think. I think Polly's still playing the long game. I do not think that she is only there to uncover Jason's murder. I think she's trying to take the whole damn town down and get her family's money back from way back in the day because they have been so abused. Everybody's been so abused and played. And maybe she really did get played by Jason, and that was the last straw. And she was like, I am tired of these rich people playing me, and now the players are about to be played. That's what I really think. And Cheryl, I think, is having like an angry, crazy Cheryl moment.
Sure.
And she may try to take down Archie, but why would she suddenly be so mad at Polly?
Well,
because Polly spoke with Archie.
Maybe, but I think it's also just she's pissed because that's her brother's side chick and she wanted to be the main chick because we know there's some crazy flowers in the attic stuff going on there, and like Jason can only love one person and it has to be her. But speaking of like what is actually cuckoo, like who's actually crazy and who's just playing a game, this was such a great episode for matching. I hate saying her name.
Make an Amick.
Make an Amick.
Make an Amick.
Make an Amick.
Can you make me an Amick?
Make an Amick. She had
delicious.
A really phenomenal episode.
She did.
I mean, acting wise, but there is this fantastic moment where she and Hal go head to head at the Riverdale Register. She picks up a brick. She straight up threw it through the door. She was like, yeah, that's right, Alice Cooper, bringing the ruckus.
My daughter back.
But it feels like all of these Cooper women are painted as living that close to the edge. Like
that, right on the edge of batshit insane. Yes, and here's the thing, too, about Alice and Hal is that went south so fast.
So fast.
Like, he turned on her so hardcore.
And now he's living at the Riverdale Register, kind of like Jughead was living at the drive-in.
So, again, it brings up, and this is a thing that we want to credit the show with quickly, is that these characters are really well written because they are taking these turns each week and you're finding new layers to them, like Alice. At first you think she's just this crazy villain, and now we're sympathetic with her. That could turn around. With the same thing happened with Cheryl.
Totally.
Could turn around again next week. Hal this week, I think, is the total villain.
Oh, yeah. No, I keep thinking Polly and Hal cahooted.
In on it together.
Totally. But the fact that
killers.
that these Cooper women can just turn on you so quick that 1 minute you're in a hot tub and the next minute you're being boiled alive, and 1 minute you're leaving the Riverdale Register and the next minute a brick is flying at your face. Yeah. 1 minute you can be in a boat on Sweetwater River, and the next minute you can have a gun in your forehead and you're dead.
Yeah. Very good point.
I'm telling you, man. I still firmly believe that Polly is responsible. But we also got other people that were responsible for other things.
Well, we got a suspect. So Hiram Lodge is not only responsible for, and it's really interesting how they're doing this because they're sort of setting it up as like almost like an Enron thing where it's like, then if you had to go, if you were the daughter of the CEO, like the CEO, and you had to then go live with the people that were affected by it.
Totally.
That's what she's going through. Veronica's going through right now.
It's very Bernie Madoff.
Yeah. So Hiram Lodge is not only responsible for bringing all of these families down and ruining all of these lives, but he was also presented as a pretty clear suspect for Jason's murder this week.
He was, but we know for a fact that he's not going to be in the show until season 2.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's just another thread that they're sort of putting out. And I do believe that he is a bad dude and he and the Blossoms have something going on, because we also overheard the Blossoms at the party saying, I should have sent Hermione to jail instead of Hiram. By the way, how weird is it that their names are Hermione and Hiram?
That's
weird.
Just not a marriage you should do.
That's like you marrying a dude named like Rothert.
Yeah, and your husband's name would be
Sasha
like
with a C.
Sasha with a C. Yeah, it would just be like the name that exists for men.
It's just weird.
But my name is actually a gender neutral name, so they could also be named Roth.
Oh,
but I've never met one. Is there a Roth out there? I've never met you.
Tweet tweet her.
Tweet
Let
me.
her know.
At Roth. It's Roth.
It's at Roth Cornett. But I don't believe that whole thing. But I do think that the Veronica-Ethel friendship that grew really deep this week.
Yes.
I think that's questionable AF.
How do you mean? You think Ethel's setting up Bronny?
I don't trust nobody. This moment of her with her journal, reading her sad poetry in English class about, I just want my daddy. Barb, I don't trust you.
Yeah.
I say, I don't believe Polly's really pregnant with twins.
Polly's definitely not pregnant with no twins.
Well, they said if she had the doctor and the doctor confirmed it's twins.
Oh, you don't
I
think
don't believe
Polly's
it.
smart enough to fake a sonogram?
I'm telling you, Polly, I don't trust that hoe for a second.
Not for a second.
But I don't trust Ethel either. So there's this whole moment where like she's forging a friendship with Veronica, and then they're sitting at dinner, and suddenly Veronica's mom finds out that her last name is Muggs, and she's like, "Oh, they're suing us." You think that she didn't know that she was Veronica Lodge? Ethel knew who Veronica was.
Well, she knew that she was Veronica Lodge, but the show was trying to sell the idea that she didn't understand what that the Lodges were responsible for the downfall of her family. She just knew that her family was fighting and that they were in distress, and she wasn't sure exactly what was going on. Her dad lost some money, but she didn't know that Hiram Lodge was responsible for it, or so she wants Veronica to think.
I don't trust it. I don't trust it for a second. I think
You can never trust what's on the surface in Riverdale.
ever. But I feel like they know that we love Barb.
Yeah.
So we're going to root for Barb. And the first time we saw her was in the anti-slut shaming
Yeah.
episode. And now they're showing her as like, oh, she's friends. And Veronica like rips her dad's pearls off and has this breakdown moment where Betty's like holding her in her arms. And it's this whole thing. I think that this is her way of getting revenge for her parents.
That might be it. That might be, and I'm not opposed to that because that's an interesting, fun twist. Also, what does that do to Veronica that was living her life as the typical mega bitch? As in, why are you such a because I can be?
Right?
And then had a change of heart. She saw the error of her ways. She's super tenderized and she's willing to like open up in her arms and love to the people that she thinks need help. Does she then turn back into the bitch of yore? And then we have for season two,
that's
like
what's up.
a turn for Veronica.
Oh yeah, and if Hiram comes in season 2,
Yeah.
and he's basically like, I want the little girl, like daddy's influence
Daddy's
on her
little
now.
girl?
Oh yeah,
Oh, she got betrayed?
It could get so
Oh, it
rugged.
could get real.
It could get so
It could get real.
The other thing that totally got real, and I'm thrilled, is R.I.P. Val Archie. Bye bye. It's not that I don't like her. I just think they didn't have any chemistry. And now they've broken up because she was like, I can't be bought the way Archie can be bought. So now Archie is untethered. And who will be tapping that maple?
Oh, Veronica is going to tap that maple of Archiekins post haste. Tapping that Archiekins maple. And this is it because we know that that they are going to hit on some of the traditional storylines from the comic. And so probably it's going to be some kind of love triangle at some point. How they get there now that we have Bughead worries me a little bit because that means something will have happened between Betty and Jughead. So, which brings me back to your earlier question about, is he that trustworthy of a narrator?
Whoa, mind blown,
I want to believe that Jughead is innocent in this. I want to believe that he doesn't know anything about his dad's shenanigans. He has nothing to do with the serpents. That's what I want to believe. The other side of that coin is, like we said, the Cooper women can turn like on a dime. Right? Oh. So if he does something to betray Betty, does he get boiled like a lobster in a hot tub with some maple?
Well, I think more, I think because we are so on his side, like more than that.
I'm so on his side.
It would be that Betty would leave him, he would be heartbroken, and then we have an even more sympathetic narrator.
Jughead. I'm on for that because I love Jughead so much. That's my favorite character on the show. I'm fine with shenanigans and nefariousness and layers upon layers of evil for every other character, but I do want to leave Jughead preserved.
Yeah, pretty much. Exactly.
So let's leave Jughead, hashtag leave Jughead preserved. Preserve Jughead in maple syrup.
Preserve him.
That's too long of a hashtag.
Okay, so let's talk about who done it. At this point, are you still believing it's a Polly Hal situation?
I totally think it's a Polly Hal situation. I really do.
I do too. At this point, I think they're just trying to confuse us with other possibilities, but I still strongly believe that that's Those are the strongest suspects.
Those are the strongest suspects. The minute they openly, but they have named Hal as a suspect. But for the most part, when they name a suspect really clearly, they're like, it's
not going to be that person.
It's not going to be Hiram Lodge.
Will there be any possibility that now that Alice Cooper is working at the Blue and Gold, which is hilarious, and I love that she was like, "You want me to work at the school newspaper?" And he was like, "Well,
we probably have a bigger budget than you do."
Yeah, which was amazing.
Super messed up.
So now that she's part of that, and they're going to start doing some really deep investigative reporting
at the Blue and Gold,
does that help her cover up the crimes of her family, or does it help her unearth them? And she didn't realize just how tied in her family was.
Well, clearly she's willing to throw a brick at Hal at this point. So I don't think she's doing crap to cover anything up for him. But if Polly is involved, I think like Cersei Lannister, that if there's anything that Alice Cooper loves, it's her children.
Yes.
And she will do anything to protect them. So if she finds out that Polly was involved, she's going to cover that business up with so much dirt and maple syrup and goo that you would just drown in it like quicksand if you came anywhere near it.
There are a couple of characters that we've not seen in a really long time.
Elaborate.
I like that. So now Val is out.
Yes.
We finally got the return of Ethel.
Yes.
Where is Josie?
Where's Josie been is what I was wondering this week.
Where's Josie been? Where's Moose been? Where's Reggie been? Where's Chuck Clayton been?
Yeah, Reggie's been on 13 Reasons Why.
That is true. I know that. Yes.
But also a good show, very different. Yeah. But yeah, I feel like there's certain characters that I want to see come back, and they have a lot to cover, right? We get Molly Ringwald next week. There's a lot to do on this show. Oh my God,
finally. We finally get Molly Ringwald.
And we find out if he's secretly a Blossom. But here's the thing, the relationship that I would like them to spend a little bit more time on in particular is Betty and Veronica. Because I thought that started out so strong and we just haven't seen, we just barely, they kind of like, they're best friends now. But come on, let's deal with what that really means.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, there was the one moment in the bathroom, but you're right. Yeah. There should be a little bit, a deeper dive.
Yeah.
I can't wait for Molly Ringwald to show up next week.
I know.
I'm guessing that will tear up some stuff because Archie at this point is so naive and blithe, and he goes along and he plays his music and he kisses girls, but he really doesn't do much, which actually is very much in line with the
Archie
books.
in the comic. Yeah.
But I wonder if the return of his mother will spin him out a little bit more.
Yeah. I think Archie's going to have to face, everybody's had to face some stuff, some business, and there's his mother coming in. That's going to be his reckoning moment.
Interesting.
That's going to be a big episode for Archie.
I hope so. And it's also going to be a big Jughead episode because I believe next week Betty surprises Jughead with a birthday party and everything goes off the rails because Cheryl is insane, which is why we know she's not the one who killed her brother, because that's just, get rid of that. That's just not even the thing. That's not even the thing. But any new suspects, anything else that we might have missed, we want you to let us know. Let us know in the comments below. You can tweet us at SJ News. You can tweet at Roth Cornett or at Sasha Pearl Raver. Make sure to like and subscribe. Of course, you can always click here for more Screen Junkies news. We're back next week with Molly Ringwald. # Maple Syrup Land Grab.